Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Not Just Any RPG. We're back once again. We went on break because I had vacation. Can't really have a game without a GM to run it. But with me, I have two returning characters. Anthony playing Sam Starwood and Luke playing Sir Harold Godfrey. Fortunately for them, they were not in the massacre last week. And we have some fresh faces. I won't announce their characters because maybe they'd like to introduce themselves in a few moments. But the players are Justin, Emma N, and Emma D. So, thank you real quick to Syrinscape, who I have neglected to put on, but will put on in a moment. There are going to be a lot of the ambient sounds and music you'll hear. If you're running a campaign of your own in any system, check them out. Lots of immersive stuff to get your players immersed in the world that you've created. Also, thank you to Mylopolis for the theme song that you just heard. And without further ado, we have a journal entry from one of our new characters.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Dieudonné DuPont. My dearest brothers and sisters, I am afraid I must leave this church after a faithful 30 years of servitude. I've been entrusted to continue the adventures of someone I have only met a few weeks ago, a man named Princeton Phillips, a former archaeology professor from America. Came to me, of all people. It may sound hard to believe, but this man has faced horrors that have cost him his fortune, reputation, that skirted him death more times than we both could count, and yet he sought my help. I could hardly believe what he was saying, but with irrefutable evidence, he showed me that the world could become befallen under rapture by ancient gods. And you may ask yourself, why? Why me? Why here at Missionary Church in Cairo? Over the course of many days, we talked. Phillips here had questions to be answered. Was he a good man, worthy of God's love? He's certainly made mistakes, but he was simply a victim of circumstances, forced by his father to become an archaeology professor at Princeton, against his will, was mocked for his ineptitude, and went on this expedition to prove himself, only to return gravely injured, which exposed the constant scandals of his parents, pulling strings to keep him there despite his lack of qualifications, which ruins his family's reputation to dust and has him fired and shunned. He told me how none of his family would even raise a finger to help his wife and child as they suffered from frostbite, simply because of their association with them. He always felt as if he had to prove himself, but perhaps to the wrong people, to prevent this from happening again. He wrote in his notes how he wanted to be someone else, no one respected him, treated him with kindness, but perhaps it was what he deserved. He found himself on a second expedition, eventually to Cairo, and was offered an opportunity to have this reversed, his job back at Princeton, with respect but refused, so he could do the right thing. He told me he regrets this in some ways. It would have all but guaranteed this world to be damned if he said yes, but was this a world worth saving? Everything he ever wanted, gone in a flash, and yet God spared his life after another near-death experience. And now he found himself in my church as he separated from the group, possibly for the last time. Without hesitation, he asked me, why was God keeping him alive? I have no answers, only interpretations of God's will. I only took care of him. Nonetheless, he gave me his notes and trusted me to continue in the event he dies, admitting no one really loved him, no one was going to even think about helping him. I was the closest thing he had to a family or a friend. But what could I do? Before I could even answer, Phillips disappeared off to Kenya, swearing that he would complete this adventure alone and fully prepared to die, just to make sure that no one else gets hurt except for him. I just prayed no harm would come his way. I only hoped this was not an elaborate suicide. However, I woke to some terrible news of Kenya soon after. Phillips and friends reunited in Mombasa, by chance I suppose, and boarded to a train en route to Nairobi soon afterwards to continue the journey. This was not supposed to happen. As you are well aware, a mysterious deadly fire struck the train where an insurmountable amount of people perished. Reports have failed to determine the cause, but I have recognized a few of the names that have been involved. Amelia Greenwald and Jack Douglas, both of whom Phillips praised endlessly for the character. Phillips told me that Greenwald was the kindest of souls and had a child on the way, where he was prepared to give all of his earnings on this adventure to ensure the child had a good life. Douglas was said to be the moral center of this group, and that even though he mocked Phillips, Phillips respected him, and now only learned his ridicule was justified before his untimely passing. Arthur Mackenzie ran, and his fate is unknown at this moment. Phillips didn't tell me much about him, but according to eyewitness accounts, he fought back against the sentient fires. a hero. I have read some reports of Phillips and Merrick laying down next to each other under a train carriage, both gravely wounded. Phillips has told me about his relationship with Merrick, and I can only assume they were prepared to die hand in hand together. There's a chance they may both live and have a beautiful life together. It makes me believe that romance doesn't exist only in Rosie Hawthorne novels. Starwood and Godfrey were the only survivors unscathed that knew of Prince's life, but by virtue of absence. I cried when reading the news, but then I received a call from someone to be next in line to replace Princeton Phillips' place on this adventure. His fate is unknown at this time. I asked everyone to prepare for the recovery and for my own safety as I take on this opportunity. We may have been strangers a few weeks ago, but he entrusted me with what he most wanted in life. If I were to refuse, I may as well never let him into my church. I've lived a good life, and I am fully prepared to give my own to achieve this, just as Princeton Phillips would. For now, I just may have to know that for myself, if he survived. May God be with you all. Love, Father Dieudonné DuPont.
And now, we join Sir Harold Godfrey and Sam Starwood on the streets of Mombasa, preparing for a hunt. Your friends have gotten on a train to Nairobi. You told them, go ahead. We're gonna get ready to have a hunt in a region near to Nairobi. We'll meet you there with everything that we'd need. You guys have some things now. You have some of the materials. Godfrey, what's something else that you guys are looking for? What's like the last thing that you need?
What are you talking about? Are you talking about
for a hunt? You have most things. What's the last thing you're going to look for right now?
I see. Yeah, we're gonna have to find a local guide, as is the case.
All right. So, going through Mombasa on the outskirts. Excuse me. You are able to find a hut with a local man in it. Don't you know a little bit of the local language here, Godfrey,
yes.
Or did we? Okay.
I have 35 in Swahili.
I believe that is the local language, if I'm not mistaken. We'll say it is in Pierce Canon for this, just for this one. Even if but I believe that's right. Anyway, you're approaching this hut in Swahili as well as in English. It says like local huntsman, hunting expert, something along those lines in Swahili, and then local hunter / guide in English.
Right, now come with me, Sam. I'm going to
That's
show
just
you.
what we need.
I am a frequent visitor of this specific establishment. They have nailed me many trophy animals in Kenya. I'm coming in. Oh, and I'm saying something in pretty bad Swahili when I walk in.
Mm-hmm.
Yo! Something like that.
You hear back in Swahili, oh, Godfrey, you're back. What can I help you hunt this time?
I just clap my hand on Sam's back right here. This fine young fellow needs a kudu. A big one.
A kudu?
Yes.
Where are you trying to hunt this kudu?
Where the big ones are, you know me.
Are you sure there isn't any city you would prefer to be near?
Should I be near a city? Ask
We could be near Nairobi.
Yeah, Nairobi
Alright,
is where you would want to be near.
gotcha. Let's stick near Nairobi if possible.
Unfortunately, there's a hunter already there. and he's pretty territorial.
Is he now?
He's. I've heard he's good, although there have been some strange goings on recently. He will certainly help you if you want to be near Nairobi, but he's a little eccentric. I'll just warn you.
I see. Well, I find most arguments in life can be resolved peacefully with a little monetary incentive. And I think I shall give that a shot on this hunter fellow. For no expense needs to be spared for getting my man Mr. Starwood a kudu to hang up on the wall.
Certainly. Well, let me know if there's any other time you're in Kenya and want to hunt elsewhere.
Where might I find this eccentric fellow?
He's just a few minute drive outside of Nairobi, to the north.
To the north. Very well, Sam. I think it's time to pack some supplies. We have
already
a hunt
packed
sequence.
What have we been doing this morning?
Let's head off. Good looks, Mr. Starwood. I knew you were a go-getter.
It's the evening, so you can either you can do either one. You guys can leave and get there like at night and find lodgings in Nairobi, or you can find lodgings here for the night and then, or go back to your lodgings that you already slept in, I guess.
That's not even an option. That's not even an option.
Why?
We're getting there tonight because we got to get up early for the hunt tomorrow.
Okay. So, you go to the train station. You get on a train. You get in the dining carriage. I'll describe to you like I described to the others. There appears to be on this train a bit of a certainly a distinction in class, but also a distinction in race. The classes seem to be differentiated mostly by race. There is a train car that is like open, where it seems the poorest people ride, and most of them appear to be native African. There is another car that appears to have some seating and is covered. It appears to be mostly middle class, some Indian and Arab people. There are some other, in both of these cars, there are some mixture. It's not all homogenous one race, but it appears to be mostly these races. And then as you're getting into the first class car, as you would have paid for, clearly, Godfrey, you notice it's mostly people of European descent, although there are some better off Arab people, Indian people, and native Africans, but not too many, not a lot. And you get into this first class car, you find your seats, you're served drinks and some food, and you're on your way to Nairobi.
You see, this is how you travel with class, Dr. Starwood.
Thank you. This seems quite excellent here. I think I'll get myself another cup of tea.
Do as you will, good sir. Now, after that whole fiasco on the ship back in Egypt, this is luxury.
Traveling in peace and comfort.
Never going back to Egypt again. They will not get my tourist dollars. Ever again. Ever.
It's a peaceful ride to Nairobi. Nothing seems amiss. It's quite nice. Those who are serving you, the waiters in this first class section, are quick and snappy. Very helpful, especially if you oil their palms a little bit with some tips. It's quite a nice ride to Nairobi. You arrive in the train station, and everyone gets loaded off the trains. The people, I assume, that Godfrey paid to carry all of this hunting equipment that you guys now have, follow you outside.
But I'm keeping the gun this time. I'm walking with the gun.
You're walking
not like
with the
out,
gun.
but I'm walking with it in the case.
Gotcha.
I got PTSD or
Gotcha.
something now.
You get out into Nairobi. It's quite loud where you're at right now, but as people disperse, it does start to get a little bit quieter. Nairobi at this time is not a huge city. It is quite a small one, actually, but it's growing. It seems as if the colonial government has kind of taken what might have once been a village, a tiny village, and has turned it into this burgeoning town that is soon to become a burgeoning city, and then maybe even go larger from there. Before you quite get out into the city, though, a man who appears to be some kind of a doctor, he looks panicky, but he's running up towards the two of you. So, sirs, are you do you know a Jack Douglas by chance?
We do.
You'll want to come with me, and he kind of starts off in a direction.
We follow the man.
Yeah.
He's moving quite quickly. He seems to be panicking. His movement is jittery. It's a little hard to keep up with him. But you, alas, you do, and eventually you come to what appears to be a small hospital. The hospitals you've been to so far in Cairo and other such places have been a lot larger than this, but this is quite a small. There's only a few rooms, it seems, and he leads you inside. He leads you down a hall and into one of the side rooms, and there lies Jack Douglas in the bed. He appears to be motionless. His eyes are closed.
Doctor.
What happened to him?
Well, there was a bit of a fire on the train. I hate to be the one to tell you this, but he is dead. We were able to stabilize him for a little bit, but unfortunately we just didn't have the materials to keep him alive for very long. He came to, and he was trying to tell us that you would be coming soon. Which one of you was Godfrey?
Me.
Godfrey would be coming soon, and he would be able to pay for his medical bill. And that we had to find his other friends from the train. But we didn't. There were no other bodies. It's the strangest thing. He claimed that it seemed to be the ravings of a madman. He was near death. But he claimed that you had the rest of your group was coming with him, but there was nobody else there. He gave us a number to call. A man in America who apparently has contacted some people to come instead of this group, come help the two of you out with something. They wouldn't say what, but there's some people on their way.
So there
That's
was
a lot to take in.
So you couldn't understand what he was saying, but the part where he said that I'd foot his bill came out loud and clear, huh?
Yes. I understood what he was saying, but it just didn't. There were no other people there. That part didn't quite make sense. He was rambling, but he did say that you would foot his bill.
Did we all send out search parties? Like, where did this train accident happen?
They were about 3/4 of the way from Mombasa to Nairobi. We did send out a couple of people, but I mean, there's just nothing. There's no trails to follow. Usually, the when people go missing, the trails are pretty clear. There was nothing.
How much is his bill?
Audrey.
We can discuss that later. Let's just get the information you need first, and then we can talk money later. Money is no object.
Jack. Oh.
Did he explain how he died?
Something about stars falling from the sky. Fire raining down. I don't know.
Damn, that doesn't sound good.
No, it doesn't. Did anyone else get hurt on this train fire?
Outside of the people who were sitting where the fire started, no. Everyone who was able to get away from where the explosion first happened made it out alive, it seems.
Really suspicious.
Very suspicious. Well,
or very lucky. I'm not a
Would
superstitious
not call this
man.
very lucky.
if there was ever one person in our group to die while everyone survived, it was either Phillips or Mr. Douglas here, so I think we can hold out some hope for the rest of our crew. Maybe not Phillips.
Yeah, Phillips is not very sturdy, but I hope the best for him.
Jeez, this is not good.
No. What are we going to
Okay.
do?
Say this is a travesty. I'm gonna tug Sam out of the room.
Okay.
It seems to me that we are in no position here to mope about. I think we have to grieve expeditiously. I
Why?
propose that we grieve on a hunt.
No!
Let you walk out, let you sort through your emotions out in the wilderness. It's a soothing presence being out there in the woods. I think it'll do you good, Dr. Starwood.
Well, I was thinking of going for a walk, but
Yes. An extended walk with a gun is what you can think of it as.
I guess. I guess I can do that.
We clear our heads, and then I think we need to make a plan for how to find the bodies / survivors of this train incident.
Yeah. So the
Because
hunter
this-
guy was a little bit north of the city, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, let's get the
think-
bill sorted and start walking over there.
I think it's time to strategize here. And see.
Okay. So this hunter guy is a named NPC who does have a role later, but we'll just I'll just introduce him to you guys. We won't get into his role later, although we would if you had the whole group with you. So I'll introduce him to you guys when you meet him, and we'll roll with it. Okay. He'll take you guys on a little bit of a hunt. So, you guys are gonna find lodgings and then leave in the morning for this hunt?
Well, we could just do it today.
Do what today?
The hunt.
Well, it's like nighttime.
Yeah, I thought he caught us at the end of the train.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll get some lodgings. I guess we should prepare to be there a while we wait for other people to come from the States.
Do we know they're coming from the States?
I don't know.
They're just coming to aid us in our search.
Yeah, they could be coming from wherever. Maybe we should call the guy in New York and see what the plan is. The number that Gavin told the doctor to call.
I see. Should we do that in the morning?
Yeah, let's do that in the morning.
Yeah, we gotta... I don't know what the time zones are, but I'm pretty sure it's, like... wonky.
I believe... Because it would be... If it was morning in Kenya, it would not yet be morning on the east coast of the United States.
So it might be the afternoon at nighttime then or something?
Probably.
It was not so you guys, it's the evening in Kenya, because it would be the sun would have gone over Kenya, would have come towards the US. Yeah, it's afternoonish, or wait.
Yeah,
That's
how time zones.
yes. Yep, I had it right. Okay. So yeah, I mean, you guys can try and do that if you'd like.
Yeah, we'll call him. Should I write down the name? Well, I forgot the name of the guy.
I'm gonna have to look up this guy's name.
Or you just pretend like we just not say it.
Well, you know him. It's Elias's lawyer.
Yeah.
The guy who's running everything. Why'd you want to call him?
Was it Kensington?
No, Kensington was his publisher.
Let's just see if he's sending people over.
Okay. So yeah, you're able to get a hold of him. Hello?
Hey, this is Sam.
Oh, Sam, terribly sorry to hear about Jack. Do you? I was only able to hear about him. Do you know what happened to the rest of your group?
Apparently they're missing. We can't find their bodies, but they're not. We can't locate them.
Okay. Well, I was in the middle of trying to get a hold of all of your everybody that you all wrote down. But if you and Godfrey are there and okay, then I'll just try and contact Jack's family and the friends that he wrote down. See if any of them would want to come out and help you out. Grieve near him. And I'll contact the rest of the group and see if they want to go looking for their missing friend or family member.
Sounds like a plan. How long do you think it'll take them to get here?
Well, Princeton telegrammed me a new name, one that he had not written in my black book. That person appears to be in Egypt right now. According to him. So that they might be there pretty quickly, but I'm pretty sure everyone else is in the States still.
Okay. Well, just keep us updated. We'll wait here in Nairobi. Just tell them to come here and meet us at our hotel.
I'm guessing you're staying in the nice hotel in Nairobi. I know that the rest are less than adequate. All right, so I'll let them know that. Call me if you need anything else. I'll be busy with this. All right, click. And so you guys are getting lodging before you head over to the hunter, or no?
Okay. Yeah, we're getting lodging.
Okay. So yeah, you go to the nice hotel in Nairobi, and get some rooms. It's pretty nice. It's upper class. It's a lot like the. It has a similar feel to the, level of class that as the first class train did, the first class car. You wake up in the morning, and you get headed over to this hunter's house. You just trying to catch a ride with somebody, or
I'm
take
more
a
of
walk?
a hail a taxi kind of guy.
You could probably get a hold of some kind of a taxi.
Rickshaw me, bro. Let's go.
Rickshaw. All right, so sure, you guys can get a rickshaw. I'm fine with that. Or that's a car sound, but you head out. It takes a couple of minutes to get out to this hunter's house. It appears to be as you approach, and you ride up. You get up there. It's quite a nice place. I have. It appears to be like a lodge, which is pretty popular among hunters who live in the regions which they show people around. You can see there's a sign, Colonel Endicott Hunter, Hunter for hire. And as you walk up, you knock on the front door. It swings open almost immediately. How can I help you?
I hear you're a hunter of some renown around these parts.
Well, I like to think so.
Sir Harold Godfrey. Nice to meet you, my good man.
Colonel Endicott, and he shakes your hand.
Colonel of what army?
The British Army.
Colonel.
He's got a bit of a colonial. It's not quite. He hasn't been on the mainland in quite some time. It sounds more colonial British than British. Yeah, there's a difference. I don't know how to do the difference, but there is one. Think like South Africa. I think South African accent.
Got you. Yes, I went to my usual haunt for a kudu hunt, and they told me that you were too good. You were taking up all the action, so I had to come and meet you for myself.
Is that what they said? I see. Well, I could certainly help you hunt a kudu out here. Haven't seen a lot of action myself recently as far as hiring goes. Not a lot of people have been out here to hunt recently for some reason, but glad that you're here. I think if we leave in the next few minutes, we might be able to catch them. And I'm gonna speed this along a little bit to get more quickly to where we're gonna introduce the new characters.
Yeah, you're good.
But yeah, he takes you on a hunt. You don't stick around with him for very long after that, but he takes you on a hunt. You bag yourself a nice kudu. I don't know what that looks like, but
Sam bags himself a nice kudu.
But yeah. I'm trying to figure out what a kudu looks like, and I don't know how to spell it. Oh, it's I know what this is. Okay. Well, anyway, you bag yourself a nice kudu. You take whatever parts of it you want.
Yeah, Sam gets the
trophy.
head. We're going to get
Absolutely.
it mounted, Dr. Starwood. A fine conversation piece.
Okay.
And you both head back to Nairobi, feeling still grieving the loss of your friend and how your the other friends who are missing.
Yeah, totally.
But yes, I totally am grieving.
Yeah. So sad.
A few fishing trips and a few hunting trips later, we're fine.
Yeah. But feeling pretty fulfilled after a good hunt, at least. You head back to Nairobi, make preparations to stay there a while as you wait for some new group members, some new investigators. By the time they get there, it's around mid to late April. By the time they're all there, around the 11th or 12th of April, though, a Frenchman walks into Nairobi. Frenchman, whose name I've forgotten how to pronounce. Dieudonné. Dieudonné. You walk into this city, and you've heard from one Carlton Ramsey. I remember his name, I think. That you can find the friends of Princeton Phillips in one of the nicer hotels on the far side of town. You make your way over there. Lucky enough, Sir Harold Godfrey and Sam are standing around in the lobby, doing whatever it is they do. They fit the descriptions of people you know. What does Dieudonné look like as they're walking up to these two fine gentlemen?
Slightly above average sized man, widow's peak in the hair, very round nose, and he's wearing a priest outfit, and he has a Bible in his arm and luggage in the other hand. I'm just standing around in the lobby, and then I see two people that fit Princeton Phillips's description of Sam Starwood and Sir Harold Godfrey. And I walk up to them, going, "Excuse me, do you two happen to be Sir Harold Godfrey and Sam Starwood?"
Who's asking?
Well, allow me to introduce myself. I am Dieudonné DuPont, Father Dieudonné DuPont, and I'm very well associated with Princeton. I'm a priest from Cairo.
Oh, were you the guy Carlton Ramsey called?
One at a time, but yeah. You could say that. Yeah, I am here to help you. In the meantime, well, Princeton Phillips is gone.
Presumed dead.
Terrible tragedy. I wish that that I could have gotten to know him better. I only knew him a couple of weeks, but I think that I've known him in a lifetime, and I am glad to be here. He's told me some things about you two that I would rather not discuss, but
Princeton's a known embellisher, Father. I'm sure you are aware. Take everything he says with a very large, very, very large grain of salt.
That's a large grain of salt.
Yes, in fact, I would say
here.
Believe about 20% of what he tells you at any given point in a sentence.
Okay. Well, he told me about all these unspeakable, unfathomable horrors, and I believe that there is a ancient god on its way. Not my god, mind you, but a god that's evil and wants to end this world.
The
Devil. Even worse. Thanks, God.
Not my god, but a devilish being who wants to destroy the world.
Yeah. That much is correct, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
Something like that.
I know that that he's not crazy. I couldn't believe it when I first read it, but I am astounded to be on this adventure. I've heard about you, Sir Harold Godfrey. This is what Princeton told me about you shooting that girl in Lester Dale. Very uncalled for, but yeah. But
Did my face get like pale a little bit here? And I'm like, no, that was a monster. That was not a girl. That was a monster who, when dead, reverted into a girl. But it was a monster when I shot it.
He's telling the truth there.
Don't accuse me of murder, Father, on the day I meet you.
he told me to be careful. I'm okay. Well, I'm prepared to look past this because I have a feeling that this is just unnecessary necessary casualties in wartime, which we were kind of in, trying to stop the gods from taking over and killing us all. But yeah.
Father, I don't know your specific brand of religion, but come, let me show you some tea. You seem all right for a Frenchman.
Okay. No.
Quite some words there, Sir Godfrey.
Yeah. Well, you seem like a Brit, all right.
Anyway, we were talking about the
ignore
good fishing spot a little bit north of here.
Okay. Fishing?
What else are two guys to do while passing time?
Aren't you, grieving?
Yeah,
Sure.
in our own ways. Do you expect us to just cry in our rooms for 3 weeks straight?
I mean, these were your friends.
As you have said, Father, there are casualties in war.
Okay. Well,
Come fishing with us. Come fishing with us, and you'll see how we grieve. We grieve like men.
okay. I am willing to take this opportunity to get to know you two better, and I will gladly take upon this opportunity. I am no enemy. I am here for moral support, perhaps. I will tell you all about what I know about Princeton and the great man that he was, and perhaps I'll get to know you two.
Damn, didn't Princeton say something similar? How he was here for moral support too? Before he went crazy? Or was that during while he was crazy? Either way, you remind me of Phillips.
It's not really a line where he went from normal to crazy. It was...
Let me
it was a
show you
smooth
how to
transition.
Okay. Well, either way. Let us fish. Fish!
Okay.
All right. So a few more days pass. Around the 14th or 15th of April. We'll just say the 15th. Make it easy. A woman walks into Nairobi. You get off the train. Go down to the Hampton House Hotel. That's the hotel you're staying at. You go inside. You wait around the lobby for a while. You've gotten there in the morning, so hopefully you haven't missed them yet. And you see a few people come down the stairs together. Two of them match descriptions you've been given of Harold Godfrey and Sam Starwood. One of them you don't recognize in the slightest, but you see these gentlemen coming down the stairs together. You are muted.
Silent film star.
That's for sure. Hello, would you be Sir Harold Godfrey and Sam Starwood?
We would.
Oh, great. You are just the people I've been looking to meet and see. Hi, I'm Florence Elsner. You might have known my sister Lorraine, or Merrick, as she seemed to go by with you.
So that was her first.
Rain? Oh.
Ray, I
Yes.
know a Merrick. That's her last name?
Yes, she had a bit of trust issues.
Yeah, she did.
As you see.
She did.
She did. But, yes, she was my dear sister. And I'm afraid something terrible might have happened to her So I'm here to carry on her work. She was the person I was closest to, as you can see, and I mean, she saved my daughter from, being kidnapped. So I had to come here and meet you and continue on her quest. You might already know me, of course. I've been in many pictures, many Cecil B. DeMille pictures, to be exact.
Alright, so just out of character right now, what am I looking at? Like, what do you look like?
Oh, right.
Yeah, besides a woman.
Yes. I have short, wavy brown hair. It's very dark brown hair, and I have very striking blue eyes. Very pale skin. She's slightly tall. She's 5'7". For a woman, she is 5'7", a little tall. Very beautiful and elegant, as one would say. For an actress, she has to be those things.
And you're gonna take over Merrick's work, are you?
Mm-hmm. You see, she has done so much for me, and I have to thank her for saving my daughter, and I have to continue on what she had put work towards.
Ma'am, if I may interrupt, your sister, Lorraine,
Yes.
what a strong, wonderful woman. I've read all about her from Princeton's notes. Wow. That's all I gotta say. I can fill you in on everything else, but later on. But also, Florence, I've loved you in that picture that you made last year. Brilliant work, by the way. So expressive.
Out of character, sorry, my cat walked across my keyboard. So that, yeah. You must be talking about My Heart at Sunset, the Rosie Hawthorne adaptation picture.
I love Rosie Hawthorne.
It was quite lovely. I loved being in that picture. It brought so much love and life to the big silver screen.
It was a big... Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. Well, first, my name is Father Dieudonné DuPont. I am a priest in Cairo, and let me say, your picture, that film, that picture, was a hit here in Cairo. It was beautiful. I saw it a couple times, and I just want to say, yeah, enough of that good then. Yeah, wonderful work.
Oh, thank you so much.
For those of you listening at home, Rosie Hawthorne is a character from our mini campaign that we played to learn the Call of Cthulhu rules. She was an author. Anyhow, so I just thought I would fill in our viewers on the joke that you
this
made.
running gag that's been going on.
You know.
So what time is it right now? Is it like breakfast time?
Yeah, it's the morning. She wanted to make sure she caught you in the lobby before you went about your day.
Okay, Miss Florence, why don't you join me, Dr. Starwood, Father DuPont.
Wait. Yeah.
Yeah,
No worries,
Father
no worries.
DuPont over for breakfast, and we can discuss a little bit here. I'm a bit confused about you taking over Merrick's position. I'm sure you knew your sister better than we all did, but I feel like she had a very unique skill set, and I want to know how you plan on following in her footsteps there with her day job, as some would say.
Well, to come to her defense, I am a priest. I am approaching 60 years young. I am not capable of half the things Princeton has done, so I think...
You certainly are.
Okay. I'll take that slate, ignore it. I don't even know what the English word could be for such rudeness. But,
Ignoring the slight against Princeton.
For such heinous words.
Heinous words. I'm sure that Merrick Elsner... I'm sorry. I am 58. I'm sure she's capable of her own skills here, just as Merrick is. Friends with the family,
You know-
I'm guessing.
My sister Lorraine, she did teach me how to throw quite the punch.
Ooh.
So, I think I'll be able to hold my own.
I dare say. I like you
Also-
already.
Yeah,
That's great.
I like.
Also, I have quite a fortune backing me, so I think I should be able to help us in any endeavors. Although I heard that you, Sir Harold, also have quite the rich backing.
Oh, please feel free to take some of the monetary strain off of me on this expedition. Be my guest. Be my
I
guest.
realize we get reimbursed for everything we spend on this expedition.
Well,
Not everything, but
Everything. But
I can have my financial advisor take that money and turn it into something profitable in 20 to 30 years, Dr. Starwood. Let's not touch that fund yet.
as this monetary conversation continues out the door and on the way to breakfast, we cut to a few days from now, April 21st to be exact. A man steps off of the train. You make your way towards the hotel, the Hampton House, excuse me, and it's later in the afternoon. You come inside. You don't see anybody. You sit down in the lobby. You wait for a few minutes. Gets a little bit later. You're reading. You read a newspaper here.
I drink some whiskey.
Drink some whiskey there.
I brought my own whiskey.
Eventually, you see two people you recognize. Godfrey and Sam have come in the door. You've met these two before, along with two other people. And all of a sudden I'll let you handle what emotion you feel when you see these two without your wife, Reginald. But you definitely recognize them.
What would I have been told? Just so I can-
Basically, Amelia is missing. Essentially. Probably in more words and put nicer than that, but
Does Reginald see us before we see him?
I would say so, because he's waiting on you
Okay.
guys, and you guys are like kind of coming in from whatever you were doing out on the town, whether it was dinner or what have you.
I'm gonna stand up. And I'll call out very nicely. I'll be like, Godfrey, sir.
Reginald! My good man. I am so sorry to hear about your wife. I come over and I go to shake his hand. Have you come to help join the search effort?
Before we get into that, I have to know, what have you guys done to look for my wife and my unborn child?
We've been trying to piece together Jack Douglas's last words while we gather our search party. And we
And what-
need some advanced deduction skills because he was not in his right mind on his deathbed.
And so what did he say?
He said something about raining stars and fire on the train to Nairobi. We think some otherworldly forces are involved. Come join us for dinner. Come join us for dinner and we can discuss it.
As long as we are very focused.
Of course.
on my-
Laser focused, had those been invented yet.
I guess we should be on our way.
We need to strategize first. Well, do we know if that's the last person of the incoming crew?
You would know it isn't, but Carlton Ramsey would have said, would have let you know, like, I believe it's Jack Douglas's family member. Is on his way, but he's been caught up with something, and it's going to be a couple extra days.
Gotcha.
So you should go ahead and get started without him.
Okay, yes, Reginald, we were waiting on you, actually. We're ready to set off immediately. Everybody that I was with would know that we made no mention of setting off anytime soon. I'm just going to ignore it. Yes, let us discuss over dinner. Let us plan how we're going to start this search party, and maybe you can offer a fresh perspective on us. We've been stumped.
Okay, we're about to meet Reginald for the first time.
That sounds
Yes.
great. Sounds like a perfect.
So then over dinner, I'm going to introduce Father DuPont, a Frenchman, but don't hold it against him. He seems like a decent fellow.
Thank you.
And here we have Merrick's sister, actually, Florence, an actress.
Yes, how do you do?
Doing quite well. What films have you, or pictures have you been in?
Oh, there's so many. My first one, of course, was The Girl of the Golden West. Now, that one holds near and dear to my heart. I played the leading role of that on stage beforehand.
I didn't see that.
And that
Sorry.
that was just lovely. Yes, I understand, Father. But thank you for saying the one film, the My Heart at Sunset, or picture. But I've also been in things such as Joan the Woman God Forgot, for better, for worse. Those are just by my dear friend Cecil B. DeMille. So
Very
And-
nice.
This guy.
How would we know you, sir?
Oh, Godfrey had introduced me. I'm a priest from Cairo. Princeton Phillips, I believe he was one of your good friends. Great man.
Yes. Interesting man.
Interesting
Unique
man indeed.
individual.
Yeah. One of a kind.
Yeah, I really hope that he gets to publish all his work. I've read his notes, a bunch of work as a novel. He came to me a couple of weeks ago when you guys were in Cairo. I believe that he separated from the group for a while. Said he had things to take care of before he come to my church, and he just had questions for me and what he could do, and he really felt like he needed to change, become a better man, because he's done things, and I'm assuming there's some friction between you two in the group, between everybody in this group, I'm assuming, but mind you, he always had his heart in the right place, and he entrusted me to continue his adventures. It's an honor of a lifetime, and I'm glad to be here. So, yeah.
Right?
I'm assuming that you are the husband of Amelia Greenwald, and from what I've read from Princeton's notes, what great woman. I'm deeply sorry for your loss here. If there's anything I can do to make things right, just let me know.
Well,
You're gonna have to-
I still hold out hope that
I
she
hold out hope
is just somewhere that we don't know.
She's a
So
very
what's-
strong woman.
So what do we know at this point of time?
So we know there was a fire on the train. Me and Sir Godfrey had stayed in behind while they went on the train.
I had to recover from a wound attempting to get out of Cairo in the frantic run I sustained. I would have been there. If I was there, I would have never let this happen. Continue, Dr. Starwood. I digress.
And then what we know from Jack's last word is that the fire may have been some sort of fire from the sky or the stars. But the train, like the fire consumed Jack, and his body was recovered from the scene. He was apparently alive. Well, he was alive for quite a bit until he got to the hospital, and they were unable to support him from there. As for the others, they didn't find any other bodies near the train site.
So, is our only plan to just go there and search out the area? I don't know quite what else to do.
Seems like that might be a good starting point. Follow their steps.
What time is it right now? Mr.
Sorry?
Dinner.
GM?
What? It's
dinner?
evening, yeah. It's dinner time.
Oh, okay. So I say we get up bright and early tomorrow, and do you guys know about where this fire might have happened? Did they give you any information on that?
Do we have any access to like news reports on this? Like, do they have any like theories as to what happened?
So he said it was about 3/4 of the way to Nairobi.
You're welcome to check the local newspaper.
Okay. Well, I believe a visit to the local newspaper here is due to unravel this mystery. If anybody would care to join me, go right ahead.
I will come with you.
Okay. Thank you, Reginald. Okay. Let's do that tomorrow. When the office is open.
Would they be open tonight?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Would you like us to go check out the train site while y'all go to the newspaper?
In that case, then I would want to go to the train site myself.
Yeah, I kind of want to see the action too. I kind of want to go to the train site.
I will go to the newspaper then.
We all go to the newspaper together first,
Okay.
just real quick,
Yeah.
and then go to the train site.
Okay. Because we don't think we really want to do something really cool.
Alright.
Okay.
I'll see you all bright and early tomorrow, I believe.
Let's do this.
I'm gonna go back to my room and drink some more whiskey
Aww.
to cope with my missing wife.
Aww.
On the way out, I'm gonna whisper to Sam, I hope you're done grieving, because now it's time to get back to work. I personally wish I could grieve a bit more.
Me too. Grieving's quite fun.
Yes, it is.
All right. So you all head to the local newspaper in the morning, the Nairobi Star. It's actually not far from the hotel, but you make your way inside. You see a woman standing over several printers working, and she's kind of giving them directions. And then she looks up and she sees you. She sees this group enter the building. Oh, hello. Do you have a story for us?
Well, we would like to make... well, do you know what happened on the train to Nairobi? Or from Nairobi to Mombasa? No, other way around. Oh no.
From Mombasa to Nairobi.
There we go.
Well, we printed it. I can show you what we printed. That's probably about all I know.
Okay.
Are you all friends? Were you here with them? What's...
We're all connected with some of the victims in a way. We're trying to get to the bottom as to where their bodies may be located. What was the cause? of the accident.
What were they in Nairobi for? And she's looking through like filing cabinets as she's continuing this conversation. What were they? What were they here in Kenya for?
They were on an expedition. That's on an expedition that I don't know if I'm at will to divulge further into details, but yeah, they were on an expedition. Unfortunately, it came to an untimely end.
Wow, that's the second expedition in a row to Kenya to come to an untimely end.
Interesting.
They say the expedition isn't over yet.
Were any of you with them, or are you just all looking for their bodies?
No, us were with them at the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
It does affect us deeply. So.
She pulls out a newspaper. It's front page news here in Nairobi when a train catches fire. So on the front page is essentially train catches a blaze. Luckily, very few injured, few people missing. Essentially.
Are there any other reports of fires in Nairobi in the past couple of years?
None like this. Not that I can remember.
Okay.
Would you happen to know where we might be able to get in contact with any of the other people on the train that were injured, or did you get interviews from any of them?
The only person who was injured, who made it out for any period of time, was the one who told us that there were people who were missing. Jack Douglas. He didn't tell us specifically, but the doctors told us that he said that.
Oh, I see. Well, that sure is great to know.
He was a good man.
He was.
Would you happen to know of anyone else that was on the train that might have witnessed what happened?
Listen, we interviewed people and they all said it was a freak accident, a fire.
Oh, okay.
That's all we were able to get. If there was a bigger story, it would have been printed here. There was none that we could find, at least. I mean, if you have the bigger story, we'll gladly print it.
I don't think we're at liberty to share it just yet.
Well, we need to go over there and investigate a bit.
Yeah. Thank you for your information. We'll be on our way now.
God bless you.
Okay. You head over. You catch a cab. You head out to the site of the fire. There's only one track, there's two tracks. There's one there and one back. I guess you can do that on one track. There's one railroad track to and from Nairobi to Mombasa. You come back here and there is not a lot to see. Pretty much everything's been cleared away. There are a few spots that see where the ground seems to have been disturbed, but on closer inspection, there's nothing really there. The trees seem to have been weirdly scorched, but not quite caught fire. which is strange.
I want to take a
as
knife and scrape the tree with my knife.
you scrape off some scorched tree bark.
Yeah.
Godfrey.
Be right back.
I want to roll spot hidden on that bark.
Okay, go ahead. wait. What are you looking for?
Bugs.
I gotta explain what I'm looking for?
Well, mostly because then I can tell you, like, if there's even anything to see. Because if there's nothing to see, then what's the point in rolling?
Well, I'm
I'm-
rolling spot hidden to see if there's something hidden.
There's nothing hidden. This is you're holding burnt tree bark.
Gotcha.
Godfrey, why have you been looking at that tree bark for? Seems like
I will say, as you've been inspecting it closer, Godfrey, since you've chosen to do this, I'll give you a little something. As you've been inspecting this closer, you would have thought, as dry as it is around here, especially recently, this would have caught fire like it should have. This should be completely
I
burnt
made a
down.
logical conclusion.
Yeah. Spot hidden, but in your brain.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess we can walk around the area, see if maybe they crawled somewhere after the train accident, or if there's any sign of them nearby.
I'll tell you
Reginald
what.
is he's like furiously examining everything he can.
People who are
Going
looking around, extreme track rolls.
Oh,
Isn't there?
well,
Godfrey might have some track.
that's the wrong dice.
failed it.
I rolled a
That's
13, and I need to get down to a 10. I can do that. Unless it's
How
gonna
much
throw
do you have?
things off.
How much do you have?
No,
on
it needs to
track?
be extreme. And
55?
Oh, dang.
Ah,
I thought you just
Yeah,
had to
my
be-
track is 10. I hire people to do that for me.
that's true.
Yeah, I'll do it. Let's spend some luck.
How much luck do you have now?
57.
Plenty.
The number I was talking for.
So, looking around, it is very well hidden. But you do find remnants of, like, people being dragged through the dirt, like bodies being dragged. But as you follow these drag marks, they slowly, it seems like they get covered up more and more, and then eventually you can't follow them anymore.
Reginald, come look at this.
I
And
run
walk
over.
him over.
I run.
So, I don't know if this is good news or bad news, but it looks like some bodies were dragged through here. I can't
Which
really
way does it
follow the
go?
trail away from the railroad.
I'm still
I can't really follow the trail though, so I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
walk in the general direction, just like a straight line. It's the only thing I know how to do.
I'm gonna walk up to Sam. Be like, Sam, you know what these tracks signify?
They were probably taken.
Technically, yes, but what I was getting at was that this signifies the start of a hunt. We gotta,
I guess
we
you could
gotta
say
follow.
that.
Yeah, I think that we might be able to hire some guides. They're not working or anything right now. Follow these tracks where you couldn't, and I couldn't, but where you couldn't, and get us to wherever these tracks lead.
I'm skeptical that you could hire someone that'll be able to follow this like better than I can. I don't really see where the trail like it ends. It looks like
now that
I
is
can't
what
follow it further.
That's what a difference of perspective can bring. Maybe an expert of the land. Where are we? We might be able to get that guy in the lodge, I forgot his name,
Godfrey,
to come over here and tell us something new.
Godfrey, can you roll me an intelligence check real quick? Just before we jump down this rabbit hole, I just want to see if we can avert direction. Change direction here a little bit in Godfrey's mind.
Okay. Intelligence?
Yeah.
I got an extreme success.
Godfrey.
You're being an idiot?
Listen, if they covered their tracks, right? This well, and then now it's been several weeks since they covered their tracks.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, like, extremely difficult to impossible to follow those tracks.
Okay, upon introspection, Dr. Starwood, it seems that I might have been slightly optimistic.
Unfortunately, you have been, Sir Godfrey.
Alright.
While you guys were talking, Reginald is still walking in the general direction of where the tracks end.
Yeah, pretty much. Just trying what I can.
Reginald.
Reginald, you're gonna get lost over there.
Yeah, that's not a productive way to solve this. I think we need to go figure out who might have done this. Like, if what Jack said is true, that it was some sort of fire from the sky, that would suggest that maybe the cult of the Black Pharaoh has something to do with it. Like, it didn't attack anyone else other than them.
I'm still walking away. I'm like mumbling under my breath now. I was like, she's gotta be over here. She's gotta be somewhere.
Should I get Reginald?
Let's just give him a moment. We can just sit down and wait.
Do I find anything of Merrick's? A knife? Anything? I fear she might be gone.
Are you asking me? No, there's not really anything out here, unfortunately, aside from the tracks that were found.
Interesting. This astounds me. I don't know what to make of it. Yeah, that's all.
Heads nor tails.
Heads nor tails.
I guess a Frenchman probably wouldn't say that. Sorry for misleading you.
How long does it take for you to give up on searching around?
A whole lot of time. How long are you gonna let me do this? Because I can do this for
I can
hours.
wait for hours.
Okay. Yeah, we know.
Reginald gets heat stroke and falls to the ground after several hours of walking into the savannah.
Well, I think while Reginald is doing whatever Reginald's doing, we can have a bit of a strategy meeting, discuss the possibility of survivors, potentially.
Okay.
With these cracks that Dr. Starwood so graciously found for us.
Thank you, Dr. Starwood.
Thank you, Dr. Starwood.
Well, how many? What do the tracks look like? Are there any footprints? What are we?
It looks like bodies got dragged through the grass.
Interesting.
Yes.
But again, let's not look too deeply into the tracks, because it seems like that's not the important thing here. Someone probably took the bodies, or because they certainly didn't crawl. Like, they didn't drag themselves.
That would be weird.
So, we should anticipate that because they were targeted and their bodies got dragged, that it has something to do with the cults we've been investigating.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll let you lead us off. What shall we do first?
I think we need to look into the Carlisle expedition in Nairobi and see if there's any cult activity here.
Good call.
That seems like a good idea.
Sir Godfrey, do you have any suggestions?
We should get Reginald.
Yes, Reginald.
I'm slightly loath to
Give him
offer
some time.
suggestions after the brain blast I did earlier.
to recover.
Yeah.
Reginald needs time to grieve, just like we did.
Oh, grieving. I've been feeling that too. Yeah. Take your time.
I'm the mother of
I'm
a 6-year-old daughter. I don't have much time to grieve.
Right. Well, take your time. I can assume. I can only assume what it must feel like for you to lose everybody, especially Princeton in my case. So, yeah, take your time. I sense that. We should get Reginald. I'm very worried.
Reginald, you might want to come here. We have some ideas of what our next steps should be.
Are you
Reginald
screaming
is stomping in the woods now.
Stomping?
He's sobbing. He
Sobbing?
gave up and he just like crumbled to the ground.
Oh, that's not good.
Reginald, good sir. I'm sure your wife would want you to carry out her work and to find her. We must keep persevering through this.
I think it's gonna be. People don't usually faint in the woods. Should get some help.
I'll walk over there and check it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like going over to Reginald. Reginald, let's get up.
Cry.
You got smelling
Crying,
salts?
yeah.
Oh, you're crying.
Yeah.
Oh,
Crying it out.
well,
We're gonna give you a big hug. At least I am.
do I get to give Reginald a big? Does he let me?
He doesn't really know you.
Yeah. Kind of like shrug you off. Like, who are you?
Okay, all right.
What are you doing?
Why are you touching me?
I like.
We're not well.
I'm gonna like swipe the tears off my face because I'm a manly man and men don't cry. And then I'm gonna take a swig of whiskey
You had that
and
on
I'm
you?
gonna be like,
Have the bottle with you.
yeah, I brought a whole case with me of our Adler whiskey.
Oh,
Of course I did.
that's just sad.
Reginald.
And I'm gonna turn to
Amelia.
Sam. I'm gonna say, we sure as hell better find her.
That's what it is.
It is okay
All
to.
it is.
It's okay for men to cry, by the way. Just letting that out there.
The Lord,
it's
the
not.
Lord says.
The Lord says.
That came straight from God.
Yeah.
God would not give men tear ducts if it was not okay for them to cry.
What if you wanted to cry, but God said?
Well,
Okay.
Carlisle expedition we go to.
Okay, so you're gonna research the Carlisle expedition. Where you guys headed to research it?
Are there archives somewhere?
There's the newspaper.
Again.
You could head back to the newspaper. There's also, I believe you guys have some connections in a handout that I resent, like last week. Yeah, there might be some connections in there if you want to skim that. In the meantime, we can head back to the newspaper if you guys want to.
Back
We
to the
already
newspaper.
seen the newspapers about the Carlisle expedition.
You
We
have
saw those
not.
back in.
Well, you haven't seen the Nairobi newspapers.
Okay.
Well, we might as well. I would like to go maybe to the Nairobi newspaper, find out more about the Carlisle expedition.
Yeah, we can go back there.
I guess since you
Go
guys
back.
have been there, it's called the Nairobi Star. By the way, just so we're aware.
Nairobi Star. Okay. Are we
Alright.
there? Yeah.
Yeah, fast travel, baby.
Baby.
You head back to the Nairobi Star. The same woman you met before looks up and sees the lot of you. Oh, what are you doing back here?
Hi.
The investigation go well at the crash site?
It went pretty well. Well, because of that, little side trip over there, we have another lead that we kind of want to investigate over here. Do you have any information on the Carlisle expedition? Nairobi.
The last expedition who arrived in Kenya and didn't leave. Well, I don't quite see the connection here. There might be one. But yes, I do. We there's plenty of papers here and here at the Star on this Carlisle group. She starts going through filing cabinets again. She pulls one out, which reports the arrival of the Carlisle expedition. It reports that they were mounting a trek to confirm some data they gathered in Egypt that concerned the followers of a religious leader who migrated southward into Kenya. In Nairobi, they stayed at the Hampton House, where you are staying. The expedition also dealt with one Dr. Horace Starrett and Mr. Neville Germain. A departure photo shows Sir Aubrey looking exceptional for his old age. He looks full of youth, almost. And Hypatia Masters looking kind of not very well. The book says dumpy. As anyone who wants to, who's looking at this picture, can roll a medicine check, I would say more likely the people who have medicine should roll
Put
it.
it all into first aid.
Yes.
Oh,
Don't mind if
Florence, you're on mute.
I
I don't have any in medicine, so
have a hard
That's the
success.
check. So
All right,
Yeah,
both
we're
of you. This Hypatia Masters might be in the early stages of pregnancy in this picture. Maybe, possibly. Anyhow, moving on without any further without any without any further elaboration. As she's handing this to you, the woman. Oh, I'm sorry. If you're going to be around quite a bit, my name is Mrs. Smythe Forbes. You can refer to me as Mrs. Forbes, and I also, this is not something that we covered in the paper because it seem super newsworthy at the time, but I believe they also spent a few days at Colonel Endicott's hunting lodge, excuse me.
quite interesting.
Does that ring a bell, Godfrey?
You're gonna have to repeat that for me.
The Carlisle expedition, we didn't report it at the time because it didn't seem quite newsworthy, but they spent a few days at Colonel Endicott's hunting lodge.
Really?
Really?
That's quite the coincidence. Just so happens that this colonel is a good friend of me and Dr. Starwood.
He's a little crazy, but he's quite friendly.
Seemed perfectly amicable when he took us out hunting. Wouldn't
Well-
you say, Dr. Starwood? I would.
That is one of his favorite activities, so
Yes.
I would have to imagine.
Wow. God chose his way through coincidences.
This is
Very
Forbes.
astute observation there, Father.
Thank you.
Would it be prudent to maybe go and talk to the Colonel?
That would. I have a couple questions for Mrs. Forbes.
I think there's a few more papers in here that I could point you to, and then I'd be happy to answer your questions. But I wrote the papers on the Carlisle expedition, so most of what I know should be in here. She pulls out another paper. It gives credit to one Lieutenant Mark Selkirk for discovering, and a squad of his men for discovering the remains of the Carlisle expedition after they were slaughtered. There's another report in this same file that describes the capture of 5 members of the Nandi tribe. They were tried and found guilty for the murder. And then there's a photograph in the file that shows a grisly scene of the men swinging from the gallows. As she's handing you this, she also goes on to say, or actually, she doesn't say anything. I'm sorry. You had questions. I'll see if the questions pertain.
So, do you know the address of a certain John Stone Kenyatta?
John Stone Kenyatta. Yeah, I know of John Stone Kenyatta. A lot of the Europeans here in Kenya would say that he is a revolutionary. Don't particularly like him. Some call him a witch doctor, but there appears to be some kind of a connection between him and magic, apparently. He spends a lot of his time at the Kikuyu Central Association storefront down in central Nairobi. If you'd like to meet him for yourself and make your own opinions.
I might have to run by there. And then I had one other question. This question's a little bit out of the blue, but do you know the cult of the Bloody Tongue?
Just keep your voice down. I know a little bit about them, but I try not to stick my nose in places where it could get me hurt. I have a feeling that maybe some part of what those people believe is correct, but they're crazy. And I don't.
You're right there.
I don't want to even have a chance encounter with that group.
Sounds very evil.
But these Carlisles that you are researching was a strange, unhealthy group. Hypatia seemed to be sick most of the time. She was especially indisposed in the mornings, it seemed. I rarely saw Carlisle. He seemed quite nervous, and he always seemed to have a hand on the whiskey. Aubrey, he seemed he was quite handsome and energetic, and I don't know, quite dapper for his age, but he had dealings with all kinds of people I wouldn't associate with. Seemingly, I didn't go approaching everyone that he dealt with, but I don't think I would want to approach most of the people he dealt with. The one woman, Tan Kaur, Taankaur, she was at the Hampton House a lot. She I know of. She is a tea peddler, but she, I don't know, something about her is off-putting.
Is she alive, or is she? Did she pass with the Carlisle expedition?
She is still in Nairobi.
Okay.
Maybe she'd tell you what they talked about in the hotel. But their doctor also, Houston, he was pretty aloof. Didn't really get a chance to discuss anything much with him. Do you have any other questions for me, or your investigation's taking you elsewhere?
Well, you said that that Tan Kar, right? Was that her name? You said she was still here in Nairobi. Where would we be able to find her?
She has a little tea shop down. If you go almost down near the industrial area, down close to like the main street, you'll probably be able to find it.
Great, that's just lovely.
Okay, I think that gives us a lot of information we need. We'll come back here if we have any questions, or if we find any breaking stories that we want you to report.
Sorry. Oh my
And then
god.
I start walking out.
Alright, where do you guys want to head?
I think we should all talk about it, because we have 5 leads from that conversation.
Which is pretty good.
The book
I'm gonna
implies heavily I should direct you to the newspaper. It's pretty heavily implied that I should, like, hey guys, go this way.
Okay, well,
Is anybody in the mood for some tea?
I think I'd be in favor of going to Colonel Incott's hunting lodge.
Yeah, that is true. Since you're so well acquainted with him.
that would
I
be
would
good
like
too.
I want to go to the hunting lodge.
Okay, that's what we'll do first.
Mm.
And we can do that in the morning. I'm sure we
Yeah,
spent
well-
most of the day at the railroad.
Yeah, driving to the railroad and then.
Yeah, what time is it now?
It's probably afternoon, late afternoon, getting into the evening probably.
Is
Okay.
it almost time for some dinner?
Dinner. Are you going on our
What?
camping? Or we're just gonna stay at our hotel? Some dinner there. Okay, then keep your seat.
Well,
Let's go to the
Well,
hunting
it's-
lodge.
well, that's in the morning. I thought,
Oh.
Yeah.
Never mind.
unless we wanted to go there now. How far is it?
The hunting lodge.
Mm-hmm.
It's a few minutes outside of town by car.
Maybe
But
should
it
probably
is-
have food there.
It is somebody's like home.
Oh.
Mm.
Yeah, I believe it's a lodge, so he does let people stay there, but it's like people who are hunting with him and stuff. Customers.
Okay.
That doesn't change much. We can still go. We just want to talk to him. He's always there.
No,
Yeah.
I feel like we should Godfrey lead that.
As the man who does know the colonel.
And with a lot of money.
Are we at the place, or are we just strategizing right now?
Strategizing.
Strategizing. Well,
Yeah.
we could go to the lodge and then see what we find out there and where that might direct us towards our next lead.
Okay.
It might give us some edge to a certain direction.
And then dinner afterwards.
That just sounds lovely.
So good with plans.
Okay, so where are we heading?
We're going to the lodge.
All right.
Hunting lodge.
You're just gonna try and catch him.
Yes.
All right. You head over there. You're able to get out there. Knock, Godfrey. I'm assuming you walk up and knock on the door, seeing as
Yes,
you
sir.
and Sam take the lead, seeing as you've dealt with this man before. The door swings open. Ah, Godfrey. You've brought a whole group. Another hunt. is
Colonel,
it?
sorry for interrupting you, my good man. But not quite a hunt, although I wish we could. Don't get me wrong, Colonel. I wish we could go back and I could show these people. Maybe we can. But I heard recently that you also hosted the Carlisle expedition on a hunt.
Well, we didn't quite go on a hunt, but they did stay with me for a few days.
I'm something of an expedition leader myself. I was wondering if I could come in and have my group here introduce themselves and ask you some questions about the Carlisle expedition.
Sure. He steps outside and closes the door behind him. I can talk to you all. Listen. I've had some issues since the Carlyles were here, but it doesn't matter. What are your questions?
I'm going to look around.
What kind of
first,
issues?
And I'm going to be like, sorry, Colonel. I'm 57 and I have a bad back. Do you have a chair anywhere I can sit on?
Okay, we can go inside, Godfrey.
Thank you, Colonel.
You
Thank
step
you. It's just
inside.
I've been doing a lot of walking recently.
I'm 58.
My back's been acting up.
You step inside directly into kind of a sitting tea room, almost. You'll find some seats.
I
So
assume
what
he's
kind
got-
of trouble have you been having since the expedition?
Well, well, if you stay here overnight, you'll find out. But
Is it the rowdy kind of trouble, or
the supernatural kind?
yeah?
I'd be fine with staying the night to find out.
I would love to stay the
Yeah.
night to find out. Actually,
Was
Not
that,
to
an,
invite
adventure
myself
and all
in.
that.
was that an invitation, sir?
We're staying the night.
You can pay to go on a hunt in the morning.
listen, I don't know exactly what it is, but these. I feel like I'm being. The Carlyles, they tried to give me something back that I lost, and I feel like I'm. He's like looking around, and kind of like scratching at himself and showing signs of insanity. I feel like I'm being punished. No, it's pretty clear.
Why would you be punished? What happened with the Carlyles?
For inviting them into my home. They
Wow.
they tried to help. I don't know.
Well, surely you can't be punished for hospitality, sir.
Well,
He should know. He's a priest.
Yeah,
Take his word.
I am a priest.
Ah, yeah.
you're a priest. What does the Bible say about spirits?
Well, for apparitions, just showing up in today's age, it's highly unlikely for God to take a physical form or spiritual form. Works his way through miracles in ways that we cannot even understand.
Well, what the Carlyles seem to cause is certainly some kind of a miracle, but and I certainly don't understand it. But
You tell.
I wouldn't call it a miracle. Well, something was taken from me.
What is taken?
I'm sorry, I can't.
Take your time.
I don't
Sure.
think- I just don't. I don't want to get into too many details about what was taken, but they tried to help get it back, and they did some kind of I used to not believe in magic, but what they did certainly felt like a spell.
What kind of steps of this
A ritual.
so-called spell? Ritual.
Ritual. How blasphemous.
Do you like whiskey?
Wow.
I love whiskey.
Hey, we don't
I
want.
pull out a bottle and I pour him a glass.
We don't want to. I don't know if you're have. Prohibition was passed in the states recently, and that was in due part to a rampant excess in alcoholism. Sir,
Listen.
We're in Nairobi.
Are we in
What
the
stays
States?
here?
no. But
We are in one of the territories of the greatest empire that has ever stood in the world.
Cheers.
Yeah, father, shut up.
Cheers! And he drinks the glass of whiskey in like seemingly one gulp.
Well, I hope that this does not trigger any addiction. If you do suffer from any of that, God will guide you out of this. Just come to me. We can talk this out.
I think I'm okay. God has shown me plenty. Anyhow,
Did you get any closer to getting what had been taken from you?
I think so. If you'd like to see God's miracle, and he starts like just laughing, just like he's insane. He starts like maniacally laughing, and then be my guest and maybe camp out on the viewing platform. I think that would be best if you really want to see this miracle.
Reginald, what did you put in that drink?
It's just whiskey.
Okay,
It is just whiskey.
How do you explain the laughing?
So, could you describe the ritual that the Carlyles did to try to rid you of this problem?
It's fuzzy, but I can try. Let me just find it. One problem that I was having is it seemed around my lodge, my guests who paid for my services in hunting were disappearing. People who lived here with me were disappearing, and it clearly to me it's always been the natives, or they snuck out, and an animal they snuck out, and an animal got them, or something along those lines. It's been clear to me. My Carlyles, when they were here, said that they could help bring back some who were lost, and maybe clear some of the disdain people have for me now, since people started disappearing. And Aubrey, that was his name, I think. It gets really fuzzy. He held his hands to the sky after creating some kind of a circle in the ground with Houston. I think that was the other man's name. And the dust just began swirling, and it took formation and several forms. It seemed like it was running all around us. And then it was over. The Carlyles left, and I was left with these swirling bits of dust all around my my property.
Would we be able to see them now?
They usually appear sometime in the middle of the night.
Are they dangerous?
I haven't been able to go out to see them since that night. I usually catch a glimpse through the window, but I don't want to look for too long in case they see me.
Would you mind if we stayed here through the night?
I would recommend you can stay in here if you really want to see what's going on. The viewing platform would be the best place to sleep.
Yeah, we can go up and spend the night on the viewing platform.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How much would this be?
If you can figure out what's going on, free.
Oh.
But I doubt you'll figure out what's going on.
Well, we will try our best.
In fact, I doubt you'll be here at dawn. But
You don't know us. What we're capable of.
Father, we
I
barely know each
know
other.
exactly what I'm capable of. I'm going back to the hotel tonight.
Sir Godfrey,
Godfrey,
you're
and I
quite
staying
good
with
with the rifle. It might be helpful to have you here.
Sam, come here for a second. We might be the only survivors of the original group. We can't just go and die doing some stupid haunted mansion thing. I'm gonna go back to the hotel. I'll leave my gun with you if you want to use it.
I'm terrible with the rifle.
Okay. Well, then I'm taking the gun back with me then. But you guys tell me how your investigation goes.
No.
Okie dokie then.
Oh no.
Eric never said that Godfrey was such a coward. I'm just kidding.
He's brave in
okay.
his own ways.
He
I
is
would
brave
hope
in his
Merrick
own
did
way.
not lie about me and told me exactly how I am.
No.
A man who knows when and when not to take risks.
You know, Lorraine did say that there was a man like that among y'all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wait, are you like leaving in the process? Godfrey, wait, where are you going? You're not gonna...
Back to the hotel.
Godfrey, we need you here.
No, you don't.
He has a point.
I mean...
I specialize in things I can shoot and spending money. Father. You'll learn that about me soon. And when I hear about disappearing people, and last time I was in a house with a monster, shooting it did not help. So I know my limits. I'm gonna go to the hotel and wait. I will meet you guys in the
There is
morning.
no need to be such a coward, Godfrey. You, right now, in the face of danger, this is a cowardly act.
Tell me the same thing if you survive tomorrow. And then I'm gonna leave.
That
Good
was
fortune
powerful.
to you, Godfrey.
Reginald is going to pull a bottle of whiskey out of his bag and leave it on the table for this nice gentleman for letting us into his home.
One of the many bottles of whiskey.
I have many bottles of whiskey.
He just has like a sack of whiskey.
You get a bottle. You get a bottle.
As he gets up from putting that on the coffee table and picks up his bag, it's like you just hear clink, 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 like as he's like carrying this bag full of bottles of
Giant
whiskey.
sack. He's like
No,
the Santa
Green-
for whiskey.
Greenwald, how good are you in a fight? Can you protect us all? I am an old man. I don't know.
I can't. I mean, I'm a surgeon. I know my
A surgeon.
capabilities.
That's a noble.
I can tell you with certainty that I don't think that I can. One of you, I couldn't even find my own wife.
It is not your
Your
fault.
wife is not your fault.
It is not your fault. You were not there. Do not blame yourself for this. I'm sorry that it happened to you. But you cannot keep on blaming yourself for an act you had no control over.
I drink some.
No.
Is there anything nice in his house?
There are lots of trophies, like hunting trophies, but most of them are very big.
Could they be used as blunt objects to attack whatever is going to come our way?
I mean, they're like the busts of like dead animals.
Oh.
They're like heads.
Low-key want to take like an antler or something. Just make that my sword.
You have a sword?
I don't, but maybe that antler on one of these heads. Are there any antlers? I don't know, but
You're gonna break this man's like. There's
Do you want a weapon?
it's not something I would do. Never mind. But that's something Princeton would do.
There might be something around. Let me see if I can.
It's like an umbrella or some kind of like blunt object that you use to
Okay, so
fire poker.
there are 8 guns, 8 types of gun, all ranging in size, all the way up to an elephant gun.
Your Godfrey, you should have stayed.
Godfrey, come on.
There could also be more weapons on the viewing platform, because that's what
Okay.
a viewing platform is
I think I'll go hand to hand rather than using a gun, because
He picks up a rifle and he just like starts swinging it at things.
make sure the safety's on so I don't shoot it.
Reginald, do you know your way around a firearm?
Well, as you say this, you should notice I have 2 pistols on my belt.
What?
Okay.
Yep.
That's quite reassuring. I'm okay. I'll grab. Do they have any handguns on the table?
There's a Webley pistol.
Okay, I'll grab that.
Okay. There's also 2 bolt-action rifles, if anybody wants them. Just to, have, just in case.
Godfrey, no. He's... okay, I'm not very good at shooting, but I think my best bet is to fight with a blunt object.
I'll take
As a
a gun.
priest, you probably think you can chase away these dust devils with God.
Yeah, with a I'll bring my Bible to attack with.
Just like,
Yeah.
Miss Elsner is grabbing a bolt-action rifle just in case.
Just in case.
Okay.
You know what?
The Webley pistol does a D10. The bolt-action rifle does 2d6 plus 4. Okay, you head out to the viewing platform.
I think I'm gonna wear my leather jacket from London here.
Okay. I guess I'm going the good old-fashioned way, the way God intended. Fists.
So, you head up to the viewing platform. You're getting ready to go to sleep. A few of you start closing your eyes. It's well into the night when all of a sudden I think you hear something in the distance. There is almost like a stirring. Like something's moving across the ground. What do any of you do? What do you do? What do?
I try to look at it.
yeah,
See
look
if I
at
can.
it.
You guys
Yeah.
peeking up
try to-
over the top of the viewing, like the outer edge of the viewing platform.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess you guys can roll me stealth checks to see if any of you get spotted.
Oh, I'm not good at stealth.
I rolled
Oh,
a
no.
hard success.
Oh no.
Oh no. Florence doesn't
Fail.
do that well in
I fail.
stealth.
I passed, but a normal success.
Well,
The rest of us
the rest
failed.
of
Wait,
them were
wait, one
seen.
second. Hard success.
Well,
Half of us were seen.
either way, you look up over the edge, and there's this kind of like it almost looks like this bit of dust was stirred up into a storm, but you can see it's almost as if it forms a human body. It's like this vaguely translucent whirlwind of dust that has morphed up into this more human shape. And as you first catch a glimpse of it, I need everyone to roll me a sanity check, and it turns. And everyone who got below a
I
hard
passed.
success on their stealth check can feel it like looking directly at you. And then you hear almost like a screech. If you failed your sanity check, you lose 1d6 sanity.
Oh man.
Okay. And if we didn't, we
Then you
find.
lose 0. Yeah.
Cool
Of
beans.
course I have to lose 6 sanity.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
I rolled a 6.
No.
All right,
So
roll me an
Roll it on
intelligence. Roll the intelligence check to see if you go temporarily insane.
Okay, I have a 75.
Just
you want to
it.
fail this? No, you
I
want
failed
to
it.
fail. You
failed
failed it. Perfect. That means you don't realize what you're seeing. It doesn't click in your brain, and you don't go insane. Wow. All right.
Jeez, man.
What a way to start this.
Yep. And now you hear almost like a screech. Yeah. And this thing charges you.
Wait, charges who?
Charges just at the viewing platform. The viewing platform is like up this tall ladder.
Oh.
Hang on a second.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Can I try to shoot it?
Can I try
Yeah.
to dodge it?
Well, we could probably get a shot in.
nothing's been hit. Yeah, it's still like there are a few of them now have started to form
There's a
and they're charging.
Alright. God is on my side. I'm gonna try to dodge this.
Well, you guys can get everyone with guns can try and get shots in.
Okay. Yeah.
Cover my ears because it's got to get
Bro,
real loud.
how am I doing this?
You're gonna roll with
Success.
your firearms rifle.
Yeah. No. I mean, how am I doing this as in, like, I have nothing in firearms and yet I had a success. That's what I meant.
Oh, okay. So 2d6 plus 4.
D6 plus 4. That's 9.
Okay, that is. This bullet like goes through this thing, and you see like dirt, like all this dust and dirt get like kind of goes up in this poof around it. The one that you hit is still formed and coming at you, but it definitely seems like it did something.
Okay. Is this firearm rifle shotgun or? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna put a
I
check
guess I
mark
can-
next to stuff you succeed at, everybody.
I guess
Don't
I can
forget.
try shooting with the Webley.
All right.
I failed.
Okay.
Got a really nice number though.
Ah.
Reginald,
Nice.
are you gonna try and get some shots in before these things start climbing up?
I'm thinking I'm gonna try my dual wielding.
Ooh.
Okay, so you're gonna roll each with a penalty die. You get to shoot both.
Oh! My dice fell. But it was I rolled a 10 on the 10s die. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so
And then a 20.
okay, so 20. What is your roll? Because you're rolling with a penalty die.
The 20.
Oh, just a 20. So
Yeah.
that's a success, I'm guessing.
Yes.
So you
That's a hard success.
All right, so
I
that's one.
succeed in one,
Yep.
and I do the next one. I rolled a 36 and a 46. Which
Okay.
is normal success.
All right, so that for you that would be 2d10 plus 4, because you hit with 2, and there would be both 1d10 plus 2. Right?
8, 6 plus 2, so 16.
Would it be plus 4?
It was 1d10 plus 2.
Right, for both.
Oh, plus 4. Yes.
Yeah.
So I rolled an 8 and a 6, and
So what is that?
18.
18.
16.
Okay.
Yes, 18.
All right. So you hit one of them. Same kind of effect. This like poof of dust and dirt. This thing is still running at you. I'm assuming you hit a different one just because you guys are like just firing at these like four somethings that are running at you. Yeah, one of them is gonna get up the ladder. I guess I'll roll to see who is.
I'm not okay with that.
Merrick. Well,
Florence, first of all.
Florence, Merrick. I rolled on an attack. I rolled a hard success, so you can try and dodge that or fight back.
Do I have penalty die if I fight back?
No, you have to beat a hard success if you fight back. If you dodge, you just have to meet a hard success.
I dodged and I rolled a 2, so.
All right. Well, it gets a second attack.
All right.
So,
well, that's just not very nice.
So.
Against me?
I rolled a hard success.
Do I have to dodge again?
Yeah, if you want to dodge.
Dodge or fight back?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm rolling for my life here. Okay, so my dodge is 33 and I rolled a 33, so normal success.
All right. Well, I rolled a hard.
Unfortunately.
So that's gonna be this and this.
This is really unfortunate.
5 damage.
That's not great.
Your guys' turn. We're back.
Can I shoot it?
Sure you can.
I have nothing in firearm. This is not going to go very well. Yeah, I did not succeed that.
All right.
Did not succeed.
Next person. Who wants to take a shot next at one of these things?
I totally should have taken a gun.
I mean, you can punch the thing that's up here if you want.
Okay. I'll stomp on it.
To kick at it.
I should have punched it. I have a lot more in there.
Okay. Alright, here we go. Wow, 21. I actually passed.
All right, well,
21 out of 25.
now. I failed. So roll a d3 plus whatever your damage bonus is.
Okay. D3. Ow.
Do you know what your damage bonus is? Did you look that up? It might be
no,
0, but
Yeah, it's 0.
Okay, cool.
And I rolled a 4.
All right, nice. Wait, on a d, you rolled the d6, right? Divide by 2.
Yeah.
So that'd be a 2.
Divide by 2.
Right.
Oh, so 2.
Because it's a d3 for just hands.
Gotcha.
Okay. So this one, a lot of the dust and dirt that make it up have kind of like fallen away, and it's like having trouble putting itself back together, reforming. Who else wants to take shots?
I will stab
I
it.
punch it?
You already take a shot this round.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
You're gonna stab it.
Yeah, doing what I'm good at.
All right. Just gonna try and dodge.
Got
you.
an extreme success.
Well, it did not get an extreme success. So.
Okay, so it's a 1d8. Oh, and it's +8 'cause it's extreme. So 9.
9. Wait, you rolled a 1? Okay. Well, this one, luckily this one, you stab into it and you kind of like pull out of it and drag along it to pull some of the dirt away, some of the dust away, and you cleave it kind of in half from the center, and it topples over like a tree. That one is gone. Another one clambers up the ladder. You guys have got these guys in like a.
Oh wait, Reginald, have you shot yet?
Oh, Reginald,
No.
yeah. You can shoot the one coming up the ladder.
Is that the only one that's really like near us?
They're all kind of at the ladder. They're kind of like there's only one way up, so they're kind of
Okay.
like coming up one after the other.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Could I get like a bucket of water?
Not from up here.
Not from up there.
Like an elevated
Maybe,
viewing platform. There's
so
there
it's
might
not
be
like-
hold on, there might be water up here.
like a bathroom or something.
No, this is just like a platform. There may be yeah, I mean there's some water. I don't know that it's in buckets. But there's enough food and water here for 3 days, so there is like a considerable amount of water up here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if there's water for 3 days, I would assume it would be in like a container.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I try to take the container and pour some on the things? They're just like dust and like
Sure.
Yeah.
dirt.
That's a good point.
Would
Reginald's
it not
logical over
turn
here.
into mud?
Do you want a mud monster?
They just congeal into one giant mud monster.
Alright.
It's like the tar monster in Scooby Doo 2.
Don't
You
bring
guys
that
know
up.
what I'm talking about.
Oh, talk to me.
Yeah.
What would I roll for this?
I don't know. I think I've been rolling with Brawl for stuff that's like weird and unconventional like that. So I guess we'll just keep that going.
Cool. Let's see. I passed. Barely.
Okay. I guess we'll dodge because these guys don't really know what you're doing to them. They failed.
Nice.
It doesn't seem like it doesn't have the same like poof effect that the gunshots did, but they slide down the ladder.
Ooh.
So I think
Slippery.
you essentially gave your group an extra turn before this one climbs up.
Nice. Can I try to shoot it again?
Yes.
Oh, heck yeah, normal success.
All right. Go ahead and roll damage.
Oh, right, yeah, damage, that's the thing. You said 2d6 plus 4, right? So 12.
Okay. I believe it's 2d6 plus 4. Then yes, that one that you just shot.
Yeah, it's the one that I shot before. I would suppose.
I was saying the one that you shot before was the one that climbed up already. That was the first one up, but this was the one that Reginald shot. So you unload it.
Okay.
Yeah, 2d6 plus 4. You unload into this thing, and it poof, it's gone.
Nice. Let's go.
Does anybody else with guns want to take shots at the remaining two?
Shot,
Yeah, I will.
shot.
All right.
I fail.
All right.
Nice.
Okay. Reginald.
I guess I'm gonna try my dual wielding again. It's kind of fun. Let's see. First roll, 17. That becomes an 87.
All right, that one misses.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's
no.
see. Second one, 24 becomes a 4.
Well,
So
it doesn't
24.
Yeah, 24.
Yeah.
All right, so that one hits. So D10 plus 2.
Yep. That would be a heart. But it doesn't matter. I got a 5 plus 2, so 7.
All right. 7 damage. Yep, same poof effect. The one that Reginald just hit clambers up the ladder. Who is it going for out of the 3 people standing near the edge taking pot shots? Reginald.
Oh, wait, you just went.
That is a fail.
Oh.
And it gets one more. That is also a fail.
Yeah.
Like, not my wife.
Before you guys can take your next turns, Colonel Endicott runs out of his house. Wait! Wait!
He needs to run back in.
Wait! No, this is the spirit of my wife. Probably, it might be my wife.
It tried to kill us, Colonel.
What makes you say that, Colonel?
As he's running out, you're like, what makes you say that, sir?
Colonel. Before you,
He's like dead sprint.
Why are you saying this?
oh no, I can't have it on my
The
conscience.
Carlyles, they tried to bring back my wife.
That's what was taken.
That's necromancy. That is not allowed.
And now, the priest goes crazy with the punches. Necromancy.
Get the dead.
He's in a full sprint. It's your guys' turns. There's one thing at the bottom of the platform that's turned its attention to the man running towards you, and there's one at the top of the platform that's just tried to hit Reginald twice and missed.
Reginald is going to take a step back.
Compose
That hit him in his
himself.
heart. It hit him in his heart. A little bit. So.
I did think it was a nice parallel, even if I don't love this sidetrack scenario, but I think it was a nice parallel, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Sam doesn't have that same moral compass, so he's gonna stab the thing at the top of the stairs. Although I lost one of my dice, so I'm gonna need to find that.
Does anyone else want to do anything while he's finding
Can I
dice?
punch it?
I make the
Sure.
7 across. I'm very
What?
conflicted right now.
Oh wait. Okay.
Right. Oh.
Fail. I didn't punch
found
it.
a cookie.
We found a cookie. You should just roll that. See how that goes.
Okay.
I'll roll
I'm just gonna
for
roll
you.
the D10 twice and just say the second roll is the ones.
Okay, that works.
Okay, I got a normal success on roll.
Okay. They got a fail on dodge. So
No.
so you
Really?
Hey,
Good.
No, that's
no
good.
necromancy.
yeah, that's
I'm so
It's a
conflicted.
good thing.
you're so
I did 7 damage.
okay. I believe with that. Oh, this thing's still hanging on, actually. So yeah, you get you try and do the same move, but it before it kind of topples in half like the first one did. The bit that you tore out kind of reforms.
Godfrey, this is a soul. Wait, Godfrey. What? Godfrey, you're not even here.
The father is going mad.
Starwood, this is a living soul. I beg you not to kill this thing.
It's trying to hurt us, and it's clearly not a living soul.
Father, you have to notice that it literally just faded away.
well,
Faded away.
Well, it hasn't faded away.
as well,
It
the
has
other
faded
ones
away.
did, but
I'm so conflicted.
the before we get into what that one on top of the platform does to you guys, the one at the bottom of the platform, Colonel Endicott is running in a full sprint towards the platform. Wait, my wife! And he
Run away!
runs and fully embraces the one at the bottom of the platform, and he tries to get close.
Does it like embrace him back?
It does for a moment,
It
and
do.
then he seems to become dust and
The
he
Colonel!
becomes one with the form of this dust thing.
No.
But the human shape doesn't seem to take on his shape at all. It remains what it was.
You just hook him in.
Yes.
I really felt like we could have prevented that from happening.
Well, anyway, the one on the platform is going to attack Sam, who just tried to hit it or succeeded in hitting it. That is a hard success.
Who do I root for?
They literally literally just like.
I guess I'll try fighting back. Because of math. 0? 10. Wait, the second one's a 1, so... That's
Wait,
a 1.
Okay, well, you dodged.
What?
It gets a second attack, though.
Yeah.
That is a fail.
Attack.
Well, I'm very sad.
Am I back or no?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I never thought
So-
about this.
Think about what you're doing.
I guess-
a normal success on fighting back.
Okay, I guess I am. I mean, you fight back every time, so it doesn't really matter, but I think I am supposed to get what you're doing before I announce whether or not they like what level of success they had. Anyway, you always fight back, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, you can do damage. 3 damage! Alright. I think that one's actually dead now. Alright.
So now there's only 2 left.
There's only one left at the bottom of the platform.
Now, mind you, that's his
Reginald.
wife.
You
Reginald
guys
comes
are killing it.
to his senses,
Godfrey,
and he
Not your
realizes
wife, Reg.
did you come back?
he's a surgeon. He knows like you need like your brain, your heart, and you need your organs to be
2
alive.
lungs.
Yeah,
stomach,
you know.
yeah,
And
digestive
he's like,
tract.
these things are literally just dust. This isn't living. I know what living is. And he's gonna try to shoot it.
Damn.
Reginald.
Let's go, Reg.
Hope no red. I'm just gonna do the 1 shot. I feel like the 2 shots will do overkill. There's a possibility that I feel like I have better odds. Let's see.
You have a higher chance of fumbling if you,
I rolled an 8.
An 8?
So, yep.
Nice. Is that an extreme?
Yep.
So you do max... you're gonna do 10 plus 2 plus 1d10. So 12 plus 1d10.
Ah! I'm dropping my dice. I rolled a 6.
Okay, so 18.
Nice.
I'm gonna say that does it.
Can I take this gun with me? Can I keep it?
I mean, the previous owner is dust now,
Good.
so
Oh,
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm looting that house.
that's
God,
Breaking
bring
one of
this
those-
out, man.
10 commandments that we all.
thou shalt
But
not
I
steal.
did get a little hurt. Can I try to do some first aid on myself? I feel I'm a little sore.
Okay, I could do some medicine if you want.
I could also do something.
Oh yeah. Oh, no, that's
Now
like,
you have the real doctor versus the doctor.
Circus doctor?
They're like,
Because I lost
Half
half of
shots.
my hit points there.
You lost how many hit
So-
points?
5,
How much is your max?
10.
Wow.
Oh wait, I forgot
did
about
not
that.
know 10 was your max. All
Did I
right.
get
well,
a major wound?
You do definitely get a major wound. I should have had you roll to see if you pass out, but it's too late for that.
Can I
Sorry,
perform first
totally
aid
forgot.
on her?
I forgot.
People are offering
I
to
like-
do medicine, and it's better. So
Probably want to take the medicine route.
who do you
Yeah.
want? Do you
Reginald,
mind?
you can go ahead.
Hey,
and do
Reg.
it.
the good
Wow.
news is you will immediately get rid of your major wound because you're going to go above
Nice.
50% hit points if they succeed.
I got a hard success.
All right,
26.
Yeah,
So-
buddy.
you get a D3 of hit points back,
Wow.
Dope.
and then at the beginning of
Oh,
every day,
hell yeah.
you gain 1 more because your major
Cool.
wound is gone.
Cool beans. So.
All right. So,
I'm
what did we learn?
I mean, honestly, we succeeded.
We did. We won. I won a house full of free stuff. I like run down
Maybe-
to the house.
Maybe next time we heed the warning of you might not make it out alive. But
Maybe
these
we
are
could've
dust things.
Pressured him more about what happened with the Carla expedition.
So,
For sure.
I'm giving that elephant gun to Sir Godfrey.
Nice.
The guy who
You'll
ran
appreciate
away.
it, I think.
Dual wield elephant gun.
That's appreciated. I already have one. Yeah.
This was quite an experience for me. I never thought I'd be confronted with such blasphemy, heretic things. And yeah, this was quite an awakening. I knew what I was getting into with Prince's notes, but my respect for him goes even further that he has to deal with this like on a daily basis.
Well, I just didn't realize how violent it truly got.
Yeah.
No wonder Lorraine is indisposed.
Same here. Wow. I am very conflicted on what happened, but I feel like sometimes rules are meant to be broken.
Father?
That's the priest.
I was very conflicted, but I think you guys made the right choice with killing that thing that we called his wife, because we could have been severely harmed. As much as I hate to say this, but I feel like we should move on.
I mean, looking around, is there anything, is there any residue of this dust? Or anything?
Is there any
Is
what
the
in the
ground
dust?
Like
Is there, like-
residue, or
No.
is there
Is the
anything?
ground dusty?
Yeah.
You definitely feel a presence. It kind of like there's no like residue, but from the spots where you shot the things, you don't feel a breeze, but some of the dirt and dust seems to blow away from that spot and go and blow in different
Vanish.
directions. Yeah.
Mhm. Priest just starts saying the Lord's Prayer.
He's praying a
Put it on
rosary
the cross,
right now in the corner.
speaking in Latin, just go.
Like rocking back as he's like, "Where's the holy water?"
So Does the
Okay.
guy have any cash on him?
Well,
Now, Sam, that is
anything
quite
he had on him was
different.
is dust now. So
Can I go
House.
grab my bottle of whiskey? Like, did he open it? Can I have it back?
no, it's still on the coffee table.
I want it back.
I hope he rests in peace. Bless his soul.
Yeah,
Bless
I'm
his
keeping
soul.
this bubbly.
Let's get out of
Um,
here.
Can
But I think I'll
can
take
I?
a trophy for the road.
Would it be possible to
carry
check
a
his
lion's
office or
head?
anything? See if there's anything that might be worth noting, like in his house office. Anything?
No, it's a lot of like he has some correspondence with like people he hunts with, people back home in jolly old England. There's some like basically some paperwork, some accounting on money coming in, money going out. There's lots of trophies all over the place from different animals. Lots of like quite a few guns. As you're looking around, though, coming out of one of the side rooms is an older gentleman. What? Who are you? Where's the colonel?
I'm
Slow down.
Florence Elsner, and the Colonel ran into a little bit of a pickle.
A pickle.
A pickle?
Who are you?
I'm one of the colonel's servants. He, the rest of them left once people started disappearing. But I've stuck around.
So you know
And-
about the dust that comes at night?
Yes.
Well, he finally decided to embrace his wife and became dust like her.
Well, What are you all doing looking around his home? The rest of the stuff has to be given away according to his will.
Well,
His will
this
and
was
testament.
mine. This
Yeah.
was mine. I gave it to him.
But yes, I can account for all of the alcohol that was here, so that's you can take that back. That's fine.
Huh.
Well,
Whoa.
he was a part of an expedition that we had been following, and that is why we actually came here. So,
Well, I hope he had some information for you. I'm sorry if he didn't, but I as you might guess, I now have some business to attend to.
Yeah, let us know if you need any help. Okay, bye.
It's like carrying a lion's head out the door. Like, all right, see you later.
alright.
Do you need a Bible?
I have a Bible. Thank you,
Okay.
Father. Are you wearing like priest's attire?
Yeah,
Thank
know.
you, Father.
Only always wearing priest attire.
I sleep in these.
Like dressed in like
He's got like the
robes.
little white leg thing. He's like sleep.
the
He rolls
collar.
over. Yeah.
This is my Sunday outfit.
I don't even think it's Sunday.
Yeah, he wears his Sunday outfit every day.
Yeah, every day.
I hope he had some information for you, but I mess you off. And he kind of like ushers you out the door.
Oh, okay, we're leaving.
This man is like 53. You don't need to be scared of him. He just
I'm
wants-
58.
No need to touch a lady.
All the youth.
He's not pushing you. He's just like kind of like he's like walking to
Come
the
on.
side and like
Let's
the
go.
door's over here.
Making sure that you're not going to take the lion.
Well, the
We're
lion
already out of there.
lion head's already gone.
Uh,
I'll let that be. I guess.
Should we meet up with Godfrey and tell everything?
Sam just like grabbed it and like started sprinting as soon as the
Well,
conversation
it's like the
was
middle of
done.
the night now, so
Here-
Godfrey's
here-
probably asleep. Godfrey is sound asleep, unbothered.
It's
Let's
like,
just
I
go
hope
back
these
to the
guys don't
hotel.
kill themselves on day 2 or something.
That'd be really unfortunate.
Yeah.
A TPK on day 2 of the new characters.
every time we're in Kenya, we just die immediately.
I
So you
would-
just skip Kenya.
Just forget about the possibility of any of your old characters having survived. Just like, well, good luck. We're out of here.
Anyways,
Alright.
we're gonna go back to the hotel and
Yeah.
sleep it off.
I think the only thing I did is I think I just punched someone.
I'm- We don't have too much time left, so I think I'm going to end on that note. Because I think that's a better note to end on than planning. Planning feels like pretty anticlimactic way to end a session. I remember from earlier in this campaign.
Just a little bit.
But yeah. Thank you for listening or watching. If you are checking us out on Spotify or a podcasting platform or YouTube, we welcome you to check us out on Twitch at twitch.tv/notjustanyrpg, where we stream Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Changes depending on your time zone. If you enjoyed, please give us a rating, 5 stars, a like, subscribe, follow us, whatever it is, on whatever platform you've been listening on. You can find us on Twitter at NotJustAnyPod, where you'll find information on this show, as well as our literature podcast. They both use the same Twitter. And yeah, I think that's about it. So we will see you all next week with Gavin's new character as well. So be sure to check that out. All right. We'll see ya.